Hello everyone, welcome to the weekend version of RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. Have you ever wondered how to take older equipment and change it or convert it to run with more modern dust collection? Well, if that's been on your mind, stay tuned. Well, putting these hoods onto these old machines, my philosophy is to spend as little money as possible. I think woodworking with a little bit of creativity can be something you can do and you can keep it somewhat affordable. So with that in mind, when I go looking to make a hood or adapt a hood, I usually start out in the heating section, the ducting section at a Home Depot or Lowe's, or, well, I guess we don't have a Lowe's here, a Rona Plus or something like that. And for the jointer, this was really an easy one to convert. So all I did, one of these it's a 6-inch side takeoff. The square here is approximately 8 inches by 8 inches. And on this Makita jointer, the chips come down from the cutter head and they drop straight down, and that opening at the bottom is about 8 inches by 8 inches. In fact, all I did to make this work is cut the tabs off of here, fold this out, and kind of cut it to shape a little bit and screw it on. Really, really easy. And I've got a wonderful 6-inch opening here, and I'll probably put flex on, and we'll run, there'll be a downspout coming down there. So this one is easy to hook up. That one worked out well. However, with the thickness planer, that presented some other challenges, and we're going to swing over to that right away. Okay, while the jointer was relatively simple to do, the thickness planer presented a couple of unique challenges. So the first challenge is where to locate the extraction point. And what I wanted to make sure happened is that I could keep the rollers, like the use of these. It would have been nicer for the overall system if I could have come up right here. But I wanted to be able to roll stock back and forth when I'm planing, and wasn't willing to give that up. So what I did is I opted to go out this side. Now this, it'll stay there. This planer will sit this way. Stock will get run through this way. So that discharge will be right about here and hook up to that port there. So this presented a few more challenges to build. And like I said when I went through what I did with the jointer, I always try to start with pre-manufactured parts. So I could have made a paper template of this, and possibly I could have done it on my own, but here you've got diameters that are important. There's a joint here, you know, there's some tapers. It's easy for them when they mass produce it, but to do a one-off for me, I don't think it would be worth my time. So what I did is I started out and I bought a 4x10 by 6 end boot. So this would go in a furnace system or whatever, and the end boot would end about here. So then what I did is I realized that this would get too close to the discharge of the thickness planer, so I added about a 3 inches of tin all the way around. And that was this stuff here. This is joist lining. The stuff in houses with solid wood joists for the floor to do a return air, they would just nail that up on the bottom of the two joists and they'd have an air cavity. So that's what that's from. It's fairly light, as you heard when I wiggled it, but I cut a piece long enough. Actually, I think I had to join it. Yeah, there's a joint there. And then I have the advantage of having a spot welder, which I bought for when I was teaching to try a new unit out. And when I realized the unit was successful, the school purchased a spot welder and I took mine home. So it's just a little, in fact, I'll show it to you yet. It's just a cheapie. So, but it works. So then what I did is I made this flange here that went on, but then I needed to cover the back. So I took another piece of that material, cut it to shape, and then I spot welded quite heavily. Now, if you didn't have access to a spot welder, I would think that a pop rivet gun and who knows, maybe even a hot glue gun would make this work. So it isn't pretty. My apologies to those who work with sheet metal and really know what they're doing, because they would have probably done a really nice job of this. I did what I think is going to work and what is cheap. So I think the one thing I am going to do yet is make it look a little better by covering basically this outside with foil tape. This looks a little bit Frankensteinish, so not that that really matters. The inside is what's most important, and I think over here, I'm going to bring you guys a little closer. Over this lip here, I might smooth this inside out just by putting some tape on it. But here's a good look at it. So you can see the end boot here, the 3 inches all the way around, and then I cut the sides back to about 2.5, so that this, on the top, there's a lip that goes over the top of the planer and screws on. And on the bottom, it's folded over and it butts into the face of the lower table on the planer. And there's one screw that goes in, and I haven't drilled that hole yet. So that's what I did. It's very simple, very straightforward. It just takes a little bit of sheet metal ability, and the nice thing about working with this sheet metal, this light stuff, is it's almost like paper. Like you can make a pretty decent fold just with your hands. Is it tough enough for this? Yes, I believe it is. So I should get back into frame here. Yeah, I think it is, because you're not using it on the flat. You're putting bends in it, and those bends make it more rigid and stronger. So I think this worked out really well. What I am going to do though is, like I say, I'm going to cover this with tape and to make it look a little nicer, and then I'm going to attach it, and we're going to hopefully run some collection to it. Now, the other issue that I face, oops, which way is this going? This way. The other issue that I'm going to face, here, let's put this on. You guys haven't seen that yet. So it's going to fit on just like that. And then there's 3 screws that go on the top and 1 on the bottom. Now, because this is over here, there isn't much room here. I'm tempted just to put a 90 here, or just 1 elbow. And that is a little bit of a sharper angle, but I'm going to try it and see if I can get away with it. And I suspect there might be a short piece of pipe here and then the blast gate. And probably from there some 6-inch flexible that'll come to it. But my goal is hopefully by next Tuesday, when my Tuesday afternoon student group comes in again, which are awesome to work with, hopefully we'll have dust collection to this machine, because the last class we did a lot of planing, and I had a big pile of shavings behind the thickness planer. So I'd like to see that all going into the barrel there and dealing with it that way. Maybe one thing before I go, because this is just a short little video again today. Okay, stay there, stay there. The spot welder, if you're interested. Okay, now this spot welder, I actually bought from Harbor Freight. I think one of the few times I've dealt with them, I liked them. The service was great. It was excellent. In fact, they sent me the wrong one. And in hindsight, I'm really glad they did, because they sent me the 110 instead of the 220 version that I'd ordered. But this, for teaching in school, was much more convenient. So all you do is you put your 2 pieces of tin between there, push it down, hold it, press the switch for 3 to 5 seconds, depending what you're welding, and let go and take it out. It's so simple. And what it allowed me to do, let's just get this back again, was just like very consistent. You know, I could put a weld every 1.5 inches or so, and it just tightened everything up. Ouch, that's sharp. Here on the back here. This was all kind of loose and flexy. Now it's nice and solid. I'm convinced this is going to work perfectly. So I guess just in closing here, try to make sure if you're having to adapt older equipment. My advice would be, I mean, if you want to make a pattern and take it to quality sheet metal or Tex Clausen or the other sheet metal fabricators in Saskatoon, go right ahead. They do excellent work and their prices aren't that out of line. But if you want to do it yourself and you want it on your own time, and I think this method still is cheaper, I would encourage you to start with pieces. To me, it just made it easier. I don't have a lot of time into this, so that made it simple. Now, I realize I have an advantage with this guy. This makes things go way faster. If you can pinch it together and hold it and get it in between the jaws, hit the switch, it's solid. So that was an added benefit. But I guess my philosophy of woodworking is you need to be creative in order to woodwork cheaply. That doesn't mean your product is bad or you don't want to compromise with materials. When you're working with high quality stuff, you want to spend money where you need to spend money. But all this has to do is get the dust from here to there. How it looks when it's doing it doesn't matter, okay? Unless you're a YouTuber that shoots video in the shop constantly. It maybe should matter then, but I'm not there yet. So this is just a plain, practical piece that you can build. It's not hard, and update your older machines so that you can keep enjoying them for another 20 or 30 years. So with that in mind, that's going to bring this video to a close. Remember to like and subscribe and share this with other people. Yeah, we'll continue the bathroom renovation next week. Like I said, I'm a little bit frustrated with some of it, but we're going to keep going. We're into tiling now. That'll help. I'm actually building something instead of just drawing something. So tiling will be more fun, and I'll enjoy that more, and hopefully that leads to better video for you. So on that note, take care, have an awesome next week, and I'll probably be posting another video maybe next Friday or so, Thursday or Friday. Okay, have an awesome week, everybody. We will see you next week.